When people talk about skill development, they usually imagine something upbeat and motivational, learning a shiny new tool, mastering a clever technique, or unlocking a higher level of competence. What almost no one mentions is the less glamorous side of it. Sometimes, developing a skill is just choosing a smaller discomfort now to avoid a much bigger one later. Take a simple example. You can spend 1 month learning to type properly with all 10 fingers, or you can keep typing badly for the next 10 years. Strangely, most people pick the second option, not because they're lazy, but because the brain is very bad at long-term math. It feels the pain of today very clearly, while the cost of the future remains vague, abstract, and easy to ignore. Our brains are wired to avoid immediate discomfort, so they default to familiar habits, even when those habits quietly charge us interest for years. The short-term struggle is obvious. The long-term penalty is invisible until it's due. This is why real skill is not just what you learn, it's the ability to compare two kinds of suffering, the discomfort of learning versus the discomfort of not knowing. People who learn well aren't necessarily faster or smarter. They're simply more honest with themselves about consequences. They can see where they'll be limited, who they'll become dependent on, and how expensive "I'll figure it out later" can be when life gets complicated. Learning basic design skills means tolerating awkward, ugly drafts now so you don't have to beg a designer for every tiny change in a personal project later. Learning communication means having uncomfortable conversations early, so you're not doing emotional damage control after relationships quietly collapse. Learning to take notes and manage tasks means giving up 10 minutes a day so you don't lose entire months feeling busy, confused, and strangely exhausted. None of these skills feel good at the beginning. They involve focus, repetition, mistakes, feedback, and the deeply humbling experience of being bad at something in public. But there's a crucial detail people forget. This kind of discomfort has an endpoint. Once you're competent, it fades. The alternative is far worse. The easy path now leads to a difficulty with no finish line. Dependency, limited options, constant firefighting, and repeating the same mistakes across an entire career while wondering why nothing ever really improves. That's why skill development doesn't start with "what do I enjoy" or "what am I naturally good at?" It starts with a more uncomfortable but far more useful question. Which kind of pain am I willing to accept today to reduce risk tomorrow? This is the first meta-skill worth learning, the ability to see long-term consequences clearly before making short-term decisions. And once you develop that, something becomes painfully obvious, often in a darkly funny way. What keeps us stuck isn't what we don't know, it's what we already know is necessary and keep politely avoiding like an unread email that's been sitting there for 3 years.